I want to talk about the history of the feelings of fear in asking out women. You know, if you're an older guy, say in your 20s and 30s, you might still be that guy that, you know, you could be an introvert like me. And as a result of that, you're apprehensive about approaching women. You're shy. You're afraid that you're going to say the wrong thing or do a wrong thing. And so I came across an interesting article this week. And the article was called, "Do Schools Kill Creativity?" Now I know you're thinking, how does this correlate with dating? But just stick with me, okay? So it was a famous TED Talk. I forget the name of the guy. I don't feel like looking at it right now. But basically, in this talk, he talks about how it is that schools kill the creativity in children. And what he said was that if you think about us as kids, as children, we come out the womb, and from day one, all we're trying to do is just try a bunch of stuff. And as kids, we don't have that long-term training of, well, don't do this, or look out for this, or be careful of this. All we know is we're going to try some stuff. We're going to probably fall down on our butts. And when we fall down, we'll cry a little bit, and then we're going to try the thing again until we get it right. So the advantage of that thought process is that kids early on are very good at wanting to just try a bunch of different things. That's why it's easier to teach kids, for example, different languages, because they're already open to the process of learning various forms of communication, versus when you get older, it's kind of like, you know, if you're from an English-speaking country, you establish that you can speak English. You might think if you're not going to travel anywhere, what's the point of learning other languages? And then as you get older, you get less motivated, and it gets harder to actually be able to learn those languages. It can still be done, but it's a lot easier as a kid when you're more open to all this stuff. So here's what happens in school, though. You go to school, and you are trying different things. You're taking math, history, science, etc., etc. But what does school do to a kid when he tries something and it's not the right answer? He gets punished. He gets an F. I used to get alerts where they would send you an alert at home saying, oh, so-and-so did this and that in school today. So that way your parents can punish you at home. But there's a system set in place whereby in order to help you get the right answer, we're going to punish you every time you do something that gets you a wrong answer or a wrong result. And so think about this. From kindergarten all the way until you graduate from college and whatever degree you get, you spend your whole life trying to be the best of the best, but in the process of that, you do what? You're doing everything you can to try to avoid mistakes. And what the article was saying was that kids lose their creativity because part of creativity is experimenting, is trying things that may not work or may partly work, but it allows you to be open to this big process of just trying things out, knowing that if you're a creative, that trying and failing is going to eventually get you the results that you want. And so if you're a kid that never gets burdened with that being wrong, then you're always open to the idea that you could be wrong, but it's going to eventually get you where you want to go. But because school is so focused on teaching you to only do the right things, we become very scared and afraid of doing anything that could result in a result that makes it wrong, that makes us not feel good, that makes it look like we're going to be idiots for not knowing something. All right? But what I realized when I was reading this article and looking at this TED Talk was that this also affects how we are in our relationships, or specifically trying to get into dating relationships. Think about this. How many times have you said to yourself, well, I want to approach that girl, but I'm afraid I'm going to say the wrong thing and look like an idiot? Or, well, I want to approach her, but I'm not so sure if she has a boyfriend or not, and I don't want to risk going over there and her saying she has a boyfriend and feeling devastated, so I'm not even going to ask. Where do you think that is coming from? We can give a variety of answers about that, but a big part of that is, if you think back to school, if you do something and it is not the right way to do something, then you are going to have a harsh punishment. And as humans, we try to avoid pain. We try to avoid punishments. We try to avoid doing things that are going to make us feel emotionally harmed in some way. So, and we do this where, you know, as kids, we're fearless. We are fearless. We'll go ask adults about things we want to do. We'll try different rides at amusement parks and try different types of foods and stuff. But as we go through school, we learn more and more that being wrong has dire consequences. And subconsciously, we take that to mean anything we do in life, we shouldn't do unless we're going to get the result that is most desired and preferable. So when you feel those feelings in your head as you're looking at a woman and think, oh my God, I don't want to do that. Oh no, what she's going to say, or I'm going to look like the fool. Recognize that is training. You have been trained to fear doing things that are going to possibly make you face rejection, but could also cause you to have growth if you would just be open to doing those things. And there's a lot of guys, especially introverts, because we are very analytical and we want to make sure we're making the right moves at the time, so we're not wasting our time, and so we won't look like morons when we try to do some stuff. So, but recognize this could actually be affecting how you're able to date, because you want to date. You want to go out with women. You want to be able to have the pick of the crop and the lay of the land, but holding you back is that simple fear that you could be wrong. And I'm going to tell you this, and this is something that a lot of gurus probably won't tell you, is that in order to really get great with women, you have to be willing to look bad. You have to be willing to occasionally go up to a woman and face the fact that she's going to say, no, I have a boyfriend, you disgust me. I've had women personally laugh in my face like, you want to date me? Ha! And does it suck when that happens? It does. But when I was able to start not taking dating so personally, it became a game whereby I was able to say, okay, I'm going to go out and try to talk to some women. I'm probably going to get rejected. I'm already expecting rejection, but this is just a way for me to test out openers. What's going to work? What's not going to work? When I started doing online dating, okay, so I got to try to match with women online and then try to spark a conversation. Most of the conversations we're going to have, they're probably not going to go that well because I'm just starting out doing this. But you know what? If I do this long enough and risk getting ghosted and risk women tell me I'm not that interesting, yada, 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 in due time, I'm going to build to the results that I want, which is I'm going to be good at having conversations, and I'm going to be good when I get with my matches of knowing how to keep that conversation going, and I'm going to be confident enough to be able to ask for the date, and I'm going to eventually start getting yeses, okay? But all that comes from recognizing that you being wrong is a very important part of the dating process. And if you allow your past training from school or from how your parents interacted with you to scare you into thinking that being wrong is a bad thing, then you, as much as you watch my videos, as much as you listen to my podcast, you are never going to actually get good at doing that thing until you say, you know what, all this information Harry's giving me is great, but I got to actually go out and use some of this stuff and recognize that I'm probably going to fall flat on my face when I first do it, but the more that I do it, the better I'm going to get, and eventually I'm going to end up landing the woman that I want, okay? So, but that's a little history of why that's one of the main reasons why you're not getting the results that you want, and how fear gets crept up into you to where it runs your entire dating life. Because if you're a guy to this point that hasn't been able to date the kind of women that he wants, or you've not been on a date at all, you're still a virgin despite the fact that you want to have sex, all these things are because you're holding yourself back because it's fear. But start to really study up on fear, where it comes from, why it's in you in the first place. And then once you're able to recognize it, really figure out how you can break that fear down to where you can at least, if nothing else, be able to just say hi to a woman. Like, I know there are some of you out there that have probably paid thousands upon thousands of dollars just to learn how to say hi to a woman. And honestly, you could save that money just by learning how to break down the fear, recognizing why it's there, and then realizing talking to women is no big deal. Talking to women is like the simplest thing in the world. We put a lot on it, but again, that goes back to really think about the fact that the only reason that fear is there is because you don't want to look wrong or be embarrassed. And remember, women are over there thinking to themselves their own fears. Am I good enough for somebody to talk to? Why is this guy staring at me but not talking to me? Is it because I'm really ugly? Like, they have their own fears as well, okay? Everybody's got these fears going on that nobody's talking to the other sex about, but recognize that it's all an illusion, okay? Going up to a woman and saying, hi, hey, how are you? How's your day going? None of that stuff should warrant getting a bad reaction. But if it does, it should just teach you then, okay, there's a better way to go about doing these approaches. Let me learn them, instead of saying I had one bad experience with a woman and now I got to run for the hills. So just wanted to encourage you guys to do that. All right. Now, if you want to learn more about how to do that, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. I have a great masterclass that's all about teaching you the 3 key secrets that you need to know as an introvert in order to really successfully start matching with and getting the women that you truly want to talk to. And it's simple. It's a free masterclass. You don't have to purchase anything to watch it, but you will learn a lot from it. And hopefully it'll help you start to build up some of the confidence that you may have lost as a result of going through our school system and learning that being wrong could be the kiss of death. Thank you for watching this episode of the Introvert Dating Success Show. If you found the info in this episode to be helpful, please show your support by clicking on the tip jar tab, the link of which can be found at the website and in the description below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this episode and catch new episodes right here on YouTube or wherever podcasts can be found. In the meantime, be sure to check out these other episodes so you too can learn to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.